Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Dave from McMaster Continuing Education. We have a lot to get through today. So this is the professional development and micro-credentials info session. Like I said, my name is Dave. I am a student information specialist here at Continuing Education. And later on, we're going to be joined by my colleague, Patty, who is the program manager for a couple of the programs that we have in our presentation today. So uh, we're going to move right along here. Like I said, lots to get through. A quick land acknowledgement here. McMaster University recognizes and acknowledges that it is located on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and Haudenosaunee nations and within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Okay, so this is a list here of the programs that we're going to be going through today. So folks, I'll just give you a moment to have a quick look at those. I won't read through them, but if you're here, you've probably taken a look at our website and seen some of these, and these are probably some of the ones that you're here for. And oh yeah, here's that list continued. I'm going to start off talking about micro credentials today. So basically, we have a handful of different programs that are where the credential that you get is delivered as a micro credential. We get a lot of questions about these, which is one of the reasons we're heading off our presentation with it. Basically, what a micro credential is it is a blockchain-based digital item that that contains basically the same information, has the same legitimacy as a traditional diploma or like certificate document that you would get when you graduate from an institution. But because it's digital, it's able to have a little bit more to it than that. So with a micro credential, you can actually drill down and look at in more detail what the program actually covered. So it'll list out like different skills or courses or whatever that were learned during that program. Uh, and so yeah, it's a little bit more, a little bit more utilitarian than a traditional, certificate document that just says, they accomplished this. So it's kind of neat in that way. And these, of course, given as implied by the name of micro credential, they do tend to be short and very focused programs, right? So they're, something you can just kind of grab without too much time investment and have a nice little bonus on your resume. So a handful of our programs are, this is the type of credential that you earn when you complete them. That's what we're talking about here when you see micro credentials mentioned. Okay. Um, and so yeah, here's some examples on this slide. So privacy management, business analysis, mindfulness, fundamentals in health and research methodology, creating caregiver-friendly workplaces, online health modules, et cetera, et cetera. Open source intelligence, Microsoft Excel. So yeah, if what I just described about what a micro credential is sounds interesting to you and you're interested in one of these programs, then yeah, that might be a great match. So our first program we're going to talk about today is creative, critical, and design thinking. So this in this program, you're going to learn how to examine principles and models of creative, critical, and design thinking to effectively solve problems for users and stakeholders. You're going to learn how to execute innovative strategies in relation to problems and complex situations, and how to reflect on and meaningfully communicate your experiences of creating, problem solving, and designing. Recognizing how to identify, participate in, and support communities of practice committed to sustainable change. Um, so we get down to sort of the brass tacks of like what does this program actually involve, like what is the sort of setup of it. The courses are delivered in our online format, and you're going to have to complete all three courses in order to complete the certificate of professional learning. Just to cover this, I'm going to mention two things here very quickly. I'm going off script here a little bit, but this is going to be good for people to know. Our online format refers to this, which I'm about to pull up on the screen for you right now. Just flipping over to our website briefly. We have three online learning formats. And on just about any program page of our website, on the right-hand side, you'll see a link to learning formats, and you can click this to get to this page that we're looking at now. This one here in the middle online is by far the most common learning format that our courses are offered in, and it is asynchronous, meaning that you don't attend live classes, but there is structure to the course. So there's due dates for assignments, discussions, things like that. You can discuss things with your instructor, et cetera, et cetera. You can click on this and read about it in a lot more detail. We're not going to go through all that, but you're welcome to go and read that to learn more about what that involves. So when we are talking about courses that are delivered online with a capital O like that, that's what we're referring to. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. And I will also briefly mention that a certificate of professional learning just means that it's a pretty short program that's made up of academic courses that have the same academic standing as undergraduate courses. Okay. So so for this program, after that little interlude to sort of explain things, for this program, you're gonna need to complete the three courses that are listed here. Okay. And it's just these three that you take. So health analytics. So this program, what it is if anybody here was attended our data and tech programs webinar yesterday, we were talking about data programs. This is basically a pretty short and sweet data program, introductory level. So like if you have no background in data analytics, but you're kind of interested in that kind of stuff and would like to learn more, this is a short, basically data analytics program that is highly focused on health. That like working, applying those skills to the healthcare field and learning about like healthcare specific applications and best practices and stuff like that. So that's basically how I would summarize what this is. If you're interested in maybe you know a little bit of data analytics stuff already, but you're interested in like pivoting, and you don't currently work in the healthcare field and you want to, and you want to get like set yourself up for that. This would be a great program for that, for example. So yeah, just to confirm what this actually involves, there's five possible courses that you can take, and to earn the certificate of completion in health analytics, you have to take three out of the five courses, and you choose which three. If you are a newcomer to the Canadian healthcare system, like you haven't worked in that field and you don't really know too much about it, we do recommend starting with understanding the Canadian healthcare system. But otherwise, there aren't really prerequisites or whatever for these courses. You can kind of just pick the three that interest you. All right. Uh, and yeah, just a little info on that. I'm gonna breeze through these career slides pretty quickly, but these are the top skills that employers are looking for, and these are some of the top job titles. So you can all, by the way, these sessions are recorded. You can always you will be anybody who registered for this will be emailed the recording when it's ready. It's an edited recording, so it's not immediate, but it'll come along, and you can come back to anything that I have, gone through quicker than you could, take a screenshot or write it down or whatever. Okay. But yeah, if you're looking around at, kind of potential, job titles or whatever that are looking for these same kind of skills, that's what we mean by this. Okay. So management principles and practices. So what you'll learn in this program is pretty much what it sounds like, right? How to identify the importance and impact of interrelationships in a professional setting, obviously, understand the functional areas of management, such as human resources, finance, marketing, operations, and general management. You'll learn the necessary knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors to work independently or collaboratively with a changing business environment, and how to develop personal and professional strategies to enhance work performance. So yeah, basically management stuff. How to be a good manager, right? It's very very important thing for basically everywhere. So what you'll gain from this is a certificate in management principles and practices, and you do have to complete 3 core courses and then 6 units of elective courses. So the when you look at the web page, it's kind of better explained visually. And I don't want to get too far off track and go in and explain that all to you. But if you take a look at this program on the web page and what courses are required, it's like slightly more complicated than some other programs in terms of the possibilities of course combinations that you can put together. But you can probably work out what we mean when you're looking at it. And if you can't, please just reach out to us and we can clarify for you. Okay. Um, and yeah, there are 2 possibilities. So the certificate just requires a little bit more. Certificate of professional learning is just a shorter, it's just 3 core courses as opposed to including the 6 units of elective courses. Okay. So moving right along to mindfulness and in modern society. So this is about the history, origins, and foundational philosophies of mindfulness and the proven scientific benefits of mindful practice. It's about the neuroscientific benefits and physiological effects of mindfulness throughout the human body, and you'll learn about different types of meditation, their benefits and applications. Brass tacks of this one, fundamentals of mindfulness certificate of completion is the shorter option. So for that, you just do 3 of the optional courses. And then for the advanced principles and practice of mindfulness certificate of completion, you do 5 courses. So you'll see when you look at the program page, there's at least 5 or maybe more than 5 optional courses that you can take. And yeah, you just do three of your choice for the shorter program, and 5 for the longer program. Okay. Um, yeah, a good thing to note about this one is it was sort of developed in association with Home, and we're have a good relationship with the Canadian Yoga Alliance. And yeah, if you take all 7 mindfulness courses, you are eligible for the meditation teacher designation through the Canadian Yoga Alliance. So a lot of our programs do have some of these associations and approvals with outside professional associations. And of course, employers look for, employers who, know their stuff and have their best practices in place are yeah, looking to hire people with these kinds of designations through professional programs, right? So, yeah, that's a good thing to know about that one. All right, so we're gonna talk now quickly about the Microsoft Excel program. Yeah, this is a really neat program. You can kind of see here lots of Microsoft Excel language here, pivot charts, Power Pivot, etc. Da 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 da. This is a really great program because basically this course will actually it's a single course, first of all, and this course will actually, let's move along to here because I want to yeah, tell you about some of these highlights here. Um, So it's approximately 21 hours of coursework, but it's very flexible. So the way this course works is, when you see this on our website, just because of the way our website is like the way it works, it's gonna say it has like this start date and this end date. But the way this course actually works is that you can register for it anytime between that start and end date. And when you start, or sorry, when you register, well, about the beginning of the following week, you're going to receive an email that gives you access to the platform where this course takes place. And on the day you receive that email, you have 12 weeks you have 12 weeks to complete the course after registering, regardless of when you registered. So if it says that the end date is today, or tomorrow or something, and you register today, you're still going to have 12 weeks to complete the course after registering. Okay. And you have 12 weeks to do that approximately 21 hours of coursework. And this course also adjusts is sort of customizable to your skill level. So if you are a total beginner, it's appropriate for you. If you have intermediate skills where there are certain things you need to learn, it's gonna adjust to be like, okay, let's help you focus on this thing that you don't know. So really really neat course in that case, and quite, it's fairly popular, and deservingly so. So oh yeah, and we're yeah, proudly partnered with Devant and Simnet for that course as well. And Simnet being the platform that you actually use. And another thing about that is that you actually retain access to Simnet after the course ends. So, oh yeah, to answer a question you might have about that, no, you don't need to have Excel for this course. That's what Simnet is for. So it actually gives you access to a simulation of MS Excel, and you retain access to that after finishing the course. So that's another neat little cherry on top. Okay. So moving on to privacy management. This is about the principles that govern privacy laws in Canada, and the risks associated with the security of information. You're learning about how to create an operational plan for information access, use, and security, and you're learning the tools and best practices to minimize risk and privacy program management. So yeah, a very quite, I guess, quite topical in this day and age, right? We're constantly hearing warnings and information about privacy and the security of our personal info and things like this. So if that kind of thing is your jam, this is a program that may be of interest to you. So these courses do run in our virtual classroom format. So I mentioned earlier, remember those three formats that we looked at on the website. This is one of really a minority of programs that we have that do run in virtual classroom, which means that they are synchronous sessions that run at specific times. So when you're looking at it, it's going to say this runs on, just for example, this isn't the actual thing, but just for an example, maybe Wednesdays at 6:30 to 9:30 or something like that. And if that suits your time, then then you can, are a good match. So um, so yeah, some industry highlights here. Here's some of the top skills, as you would imagine, right? Information privacy, auditing, cybersecurity, risk analysis. Of course, yeah, Microsoft Excel and Office are gonna, be important ones for sure. Privacy analysts, privacy managers, data protection specialists, data governance managers, system admins, and architects are some of the top job titles. Where the skills and topics really align with the kind of stuff that we are that this program is also talking about. Okay. So moving right along to project management. All right. This is a very popular program, project management being a hugely sought after skill. These courses actually do tend to, it's quite common for these courses to fill up to reach full capacity before their start date, before enrollment would close otherwise. So if you are interested in this one, definitely, I mean, you should do this for all the courses, but but definitely for project management, rush to enroll as soon as you can, because this one is extremely popular. And yeah, so it's looking at how to build a complete project plan and scope, cost and scheduling documents, effective management, leadership, and communication strategies, project execution and team coordination approaches, tools, and best practices. So yeah, what this course actually consists of, again, it's in the asynchronous online format. You gain the skills and knowledge of the latest project management tools and best practices. Three 10-week courses. So I just want to clarify for this one. So it consists of 3 courses, okay? And we do recommend taking these 3 courses in sequential order. So when you look at the website, you'll see there's PMP 401, 402, and 403. Um, and by the way, I see somebody asking in the chat if we can share more about the online format. I'll ask my colleague to drop the link to the learning formats page so that people can read the details of the online format. Um, uh, but yeah, please do. And Kita, who asked the question, do be mindful of my advice here that I'm going to say right now is that if you're interested in taking this program, what you should really do is make sure that you take PMP 401 first, particularly if you are new to this field. And then if you are really in a rush, it's reasonable to take PMP 402 and 403 simultaneously after that. Although probably best possible world scenario, you just take them one at a time in sort of 3 consecutive terms. But it is up to you. But that's kind of how we would recommend you do it. A lot of people are looking to get through this pretty quickly, and they do end up taking the PMP 402 and 403 simultaneously. I also want to mention, this is probably mentioned on the next slide, but yeah, our program is recognized by the PMI. So this is the related professional association that is in charge of granting the professional PMP certification that you can get. So, again, one of those things that employers are looking for. And even by doing just one of our courses, you can actually be qualified to pursue one of the designations through the PMI. So, because they are worth the requisite 39 PDUs for that. And yeah, their talent gap report suggests the global economy will need 25 million new project management professionals by 2030. So, hence the popularity of this course. Lots of people are on the ball and getting on that. So there you go. Um, so we will now talk a little bit about sustainability, and let's see here. I know we're racing along pretty quickly here, but we do have a lot of programs to get through. So,
Dave, I'm happy to talk to that program.
oh sure, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, Patty. Yeah, Patty's gonna jump in because yeah, she is you're the program manager for this one as well, right?
You betcha. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll let Patty take it away then. Go ahead.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Dave. So our sustainability online program provides several of the shared learning opportunities that are listed here, including the opportunity to better understand your ecological footprint. Sustainability courses are offered in a convenient and flexible online format. So as a student, you'll have the opportunity to expand your knowledge and make a difference by learning sustainable environmental, economic, as well as societal best practices. So looking at the program, who would be interested in possibly pursuing a sustainability program? From our experience, we found that this program is a great fit for professionals looking to develop their background in sustainability best practices, or even professionals wanting to explore a new career path. Next slide, please, Dave. So if we look even deeper into some of the courses that represent the Sustainability Professional Development Program, this program offers practical tools and strategies for living and working sustainably. You can gain a Sustainability Certificate of Completion by completing any of the 3 of the 4 online course listing here. Course options would include the following: Principles of Sustainability, Practices for Sustainable Living, Practices for Sustainable Business, and Responsible Production and Consumption. So for some of the several outcomes that you might be interested in knowing, like as a student, what could I take away from taking these particular courses? So by anticipation of learning through the sustainability program, some of the learning outcomes would include key local and national issues within the sustainable movement, roles of individuals, communities, and businesses, primary policies and laws affecting sustainable practices, practical tools and resources and strategies, and techniques to develop sustainable living and working environments. The sustainability program was also designed with reference to the International Society of Sustainability Professionals core competencies. Next slide, please. So now we're going to move on. We're going to talk a wee bit about our essential programs. So the essential programs, Learning for Professionals for Enhancing Your Professional and Personal Development, offers many learning opportunities referencing several skills that are listed here, such as effectively working remotely, utilizing effective and confident communication skills, dealing with difficult circumstances while working towards achieving harmony and optimum productivity. Our Essential Programs team is committed to working with all participants by providing solutions to achieving students' personal and professional development goals. The Essential Program classes are a collection of half-day 1 and 2 courses, which are designed to be highly interactive, providing applied, practical, and professional skills that can be used immediately in the workplace. With open public enrollment opportunities, participants can network and work in group collaborative discussions with like-minded industry professionals across all industry sectors. The work environment that we face today requires employees to multitask, to have excellent communication and time management skills, and to easily adapt to the constantly changing workplace. The above references several learning outcomes for enhancing personal and professional development. Next slide, please. So let's look at essential programs a little more closely. The essential program courses are delivered virtually using Zoom, so that means they're live, they're synchronous, in either a half-day, 3-hour, or a full-day, 6-hour delivery format. There are 6 essential program streams that you can choose from. You can look at focusing on business, communication, innovation, leadership, productivity, and team. So these 6 streams will make up the niche types of learning that you can learn if you take some of our essential courses. To provide an illustration of possible learning opportunities in our business essentials, you could learn effective management strategies, improve decision-making, managing workload, and improving your well-being. For communication essentials, you could learn how to express yourself clearly and with confidence. The art of active listening is also very popular. For our innovation essentials, possible learning opportunities could include how to implement strategies that will generate innovative ideas and solutions, how to explore and expand possibilities using an innovative mindset. Leadership essentials today are crucial, and they're very, very popular as a stream within the essential programs portfolio. As a student, you could learn how to connect with your own inner awareness and tap into your own natural leadership abilities. Techniques to effectively apply emotional intelligence to better understand, manage, and live our emotions to manage conflict, deal with stress, and relate to others more effectively. For productivity essentials, you'll learn how to effectively organize your workday and your time, how to set priorities, optimize your interactions with coworkers, customers, and management. And lastly, for team essentials, you can learn the opportunity to achieve optimum productivity and harmony in the workplace and foster outstanding teamwork. Maybe you might be interested in learning about building high-performance teams, fostering a motivating team environment, and diagnosing team performance problems. If any of the learning opportunities that we've just mentioned seem interesting, presently we are accepting online course registrations for the winter of 2025 upcoming semester. Next slide, please. So when participants complete 5 full days of essential coursework and receive a passing grade and all of the required submitted evaluation assignments, a McMaster University Continuing Education Essential Program Certificate of Completion may be awarded. Presently, we offer 2 types of Essentials Program Certificates of Completion. One is a certificate of completion geared towards an essential program stream, or 2, you could look towards completing a multi-competency Essentials Program Certificate of Completion that's open to all essential programs coursework. Our 1 to 2 day courses may also be considered as a possible elective credit in our Business Administration diploma. Students will have a maximum of 3 years to complete all requirements for an Essentials Program Certificate of Completion. As previously shared, our essential programs are delivered in a Zoom virtual classroom format designed to be flexible, allowing participants to go at their own pace for upskilling and reskilling and in-demand training opportunities, satisfying learning needs and schedules. We are full steam ahead for accepting online registrations for the winter. Our spring 2025 online course registration will be scheduled to open mid-March. Typically, we try to schedule all courses at least every 12 months, with our more popular courses being scheduled more frequently. All essential program courses have an online enrollment deadline date scheduled at least 3 days prior to each essential course start date for administrative purposes. So, if we have any interested participants listening, please register early. Next slide, please. So referencing this particular slide from a social media perspective, I believe we all probably are well aware that soft skills are in-demand skills needed across all industries. Several noted industry in-demand essential soft skills include communications, customer service, management, operations, sales, leadership, writing, just to name a few. Our essential programs offer specific niche personal and professional development training, looking at, as an example, effective business writing skills, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, negotiation skills, just to name a few. For who should consider enrolling in our essential program courses, we have attracted professionals who want to ensure that they master the critical skills needed for success, professionals exploring a new career path, organizations looking to invest in their team, and individuals looking to enhance in-demand soft skills. Essential programs are open to the public as mentioned. With more than 30 courses, there's sure to be something of interest for everyone. Popular courses include Leadership Foundations, Unconscious Bias, How We Make Decisions, Emotional Intelligence, Conflict Resolution, Project Management, Effective Business Writing, and the Art of Active Listening, just to name a few. Please visit continuing.mcmaster.ca and reference Professional Development and Essentials to learn more about our upcoming scheduled winter courses. Thanks for listening, and back over to you, Dave.
All right. Thanks, Patty. That was great. And just about ran right past you there because I was so locked in, focused on making sure that we get through all our programs. So thanks to Patty for jumping in there and talking about her programs. So I'm gonna pick it up here and we're gonna talk about change management. Uh, so for change management, what you'll learn in this program is, well, the fundamentals of change management, key concepts and benefits of change management strategy and plan development, stakeholder engagement and effective communications, and change assessment, organizational support methods. So, I mean, really what it comes down to is if you're not really familiar with this field, uh, basically, the way this works is that when organizations, particularly kind of medium to larger sized ones, have to go through some sort of tectonic like changes, it can, really, put pressure on people. It causes more animosity between coworkers and things like that, right? Because it's just a stressful time and it, creates logistical challenges and things like that. So people who are really experts in change management are sometimes brought in from outside or sometimes, trained from within to really take on the responsibility of literally just being dedicated to helping navigate those changes and helping with people's communications and managing the logistics of timelines for one thing to switch from one thing to another, that kind of thing. So that's really what this is all about. And so program highlights of this is that they are virtual instructor led courses. And so yeah, they are live classes. They are 3-day or 1-day virtual sessions that are delivered quarterly. So you can take a look at our website to see what what the sort of current offerings are, or upcoming. And yeah, who this is targeted at is any professional who would like to further develop their skills in managing change, and leaders with responsibility for change in their organization. We're proud to work with Mariner on this program, and did you know that over 50% of organizations have change management job roles? So there you go. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit now quickly about corporate training. And so we have hundreds of high quality courses and professional development workshops to choose from, and but you can get training tailored to meet your organization's needs. So what we're talking about with this is personalized programs that give your organization a competitive advantage with a curriculum that is uniquely yours. Informed skills training that is focused on your corporate goals and delivered by one of the world's top universities. That's us. Flexible interactive delivery in multiple formats at your office, online, or blended, and employees with expanded skill sets and increased knowledge is yeah, one of the things that you will derive from this, right? As well as more open communication and collaboration among employees, departments, and teams. So yeah, basically, if you are looking around our website and you're thinking, hey, these look like some cool programs, but it's not, none of these are quite exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm looking to register a bunch of people. Basically contact us about that, and we're going to we'll get you set up with or at least we'll talk about the possibility of setting up a such a program for you, that meets your needs. Um, so, yeah, just a couple of highlights here. These are university level professional development opportunities and quite flexible. Why you should choose us for this is, again, the courses are adapted to your business training requirements, and, this is going to help you meet your stay on top of current market trends, meet your deliverables, deliver to your stakeholders, whatever the situation may be. Okay. Um, and did you know that while technical skills remain crucial, it is increasingly evident that soft skills, the interpersonal communication and emotional intelligence abilities of employees, are becoming essential for professional success. Continuous professional development is essential to getting ahead in today's competitive job market. And yeah, launching in the early 2000s, McMaster University Continuing Education's corporate training unit has been designing and delivering a wide range of programs and services, including skills-based and just-in-time training solutions to help organizations invest in their employees to advance their business goals. So yeah, so this slide here is just listing out more programs that we didn't include in the presentation today. But we also have retirement, and we have lots more than this, by the way, but these are ones that we sort of, consider to be under a professional development umbrella. We have retirement community management, open source intelligence, a course called Creating Caregiver-Friendly Workplaces. We have an academic writing program, EdXpress. EdXpress is what that is that's just these pretty short fun courses on, they tend to be on kind of fun subjects. Like one I saw was, I think it was like the history of rock and roll music or something like that, right? It's kind of fun stuff like that that you can take that really could be of interest to just about anyone, right? And those are synchronous classes that you take, showing up to a webinar type of thing as well. We have a whole bunch of options that we haven't even mentioned today through our learning partners, Ed2Go and You Got Class. So if you're looking at various different program sections, like say you're looking into tech and data programs, if you scroll down the page, you're going to see there's a whole section where it says partner courses, and there's a whole bunch more that are, might be of interest to you, different topics, different, just, yeah, different things you can look into, most of which, are different from the ones that are like fully in-house with us. And with the difference being that these ones are sort of co-developed by us, but sort of administered by these learning partners. So with our seal of approval. Okay. Um, and we have a partnership with OCAD University School of Continuing Studies as well, which is you can learn more about those options on our site as well. So whoever was saying that they wanted to learn about financial assistance options, this is your moment. I'm going to go over that briefly. So a lot of people ask, are your courses eligible for OSAP? Well, the essentials courses that Patty was talking about today, those actually are eligible for OSAP, but that is those are the only courses that are. The rest of our courses are not eligible for OSAP, but we have these other funding options here that you can look into. So if you are looking at courses that are worth academic credit, which most of our offerings today are not, by the way. Most of the ones we went over are not academic credit, but if you are looking around at other courses that are worth academic credit, you can take a look at this bursary/award that's done by the McMaster Association of Part-Time Students. And we have a funding page on our website. I'll actually just flip over to the web page and show you quickly where that is. So if you're on our website here, go to Help Center, and it's somewhere here, I believe. Hold on a minute. Uh, what funding options are available? Okay. So we go over some of them here. And we have a page for this as well. I'm just going to click on my bookmark. And yeah, we have this funding page. Sorry, it's in my apologies. It's in support services where you find this if you're navigating to it. So yeah, and this page has links to all these other things. So yeah, if you take a look at that, that's going to give you more details, and you can learn more about whether you would be eligible for this or not, whether the course you're interested in is eligible for any of these, really. So another thing that I will draw your attention to is that there's also Canadian and Ontario government funded subsidy programs, such as Better Jobs Ontario and the Canada Ontario Job Grant. On that page we were just looking at, there's links to those government web pages that explain those programs, so you can look more into those. Another one is Windmill Microlending, which is loans for skilled immigrants and refugees. So if that's you, that is something that you should definitely look into. And you can ask your employer about any tuition assistance programs that may be available as well. So lots of employers do have tuition assistance programs. They'll allow you to pay for courses, and of course you can go the traditional route of looking into lines of credit or loans from your bank, that kind of thing. RESPs are used to pay for our courses. That's that's a possibility. So yeah, so you can take a look at our page that we went to and find lots more details about that. I just want to cover this basic registration criteria really quickly. So all of the courses that we talked about today have open enrollment, and this is the case for most offerings from us at Continuing Education. So you do not need to apply for these programs. Okay, there's no application. You go to our website, you put them in your shopping cart, and you check out. That's how you join these programs. Okay. But our sort of baseline registration criteria is that we do expect our students to have Ontario Secondary School diploma or equivalent. Equivalent just being, you have a high school education, right? And in lieu of that, you can be a mature student, which just means that you've been out of school for a couple of years, okay? And then aside from that, we have an English proficiency requirement, right? So if English isn't your first language, you should take a look at there's links to it on our website. Uh, in multiple different places when you're looking at like any register now tab on a program. There's gonna be a link to the McMaster University English proficiency webpage, which goes over some test scores. And basically you want to make sure that you're at that level. However, for open enrollment programs, we don't say that you need to send that in or whatever. This is, you're using your best judgment here to, make sure that your English skills are appropriate for the program that you are registering for. Okay. So that's all you need to worry about. But like I said, there's no application for these. You can just add courses to your cart. And the first time you do that, the first time you proceed to checkout, you're going to get prompted to create an account and sort of go forward from there. Okay. And if you've already created an account in the past, that's the same prompt also, says, sign in if you have an existing account. Okay. So, these are frequently asked questions. It's a little bit tricky to give detailed answers to these questions in this presentation because there are the programs that we've gone over have a bunch of different ways of beginning their course. But what is universally true is that you do add your program to your cart on our website and you check out. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get, regardless of what the situation is, you're going to get instructions on how to begin your course. So if you're taking like an essentials course, for example, you're going to get an email well ahead of time that's, letting you know, like, giving you the link to the Zoom and, reminding you of when that is, etc. But if you're taking something that is, an online asynchronous course, which, overall most of our programs are, then it's going to be a different process, but you're going to receive emails telling you what to do on that. So that's just kind of my blanket answer to those first two questions. The cost of courses, you have probably seen when you've been looking at our website or when I've been looking at during this presentation, that the costs are listed. So if we just go look at some individual courses, let's look at the anti-Black racism course, for example. So like, you go to this and you can see, all right, it's $2.99, right? Now some courses do charge tax, but most do not. Like the vast majority do not charge any tax. So most likely whatever price you're looking at there is going to be the price of the course. And duration is indicated in the same place, right? So you can see the date range for this course here as an example, January 20th to March 28th. And then, if let's say you're taking a program. So we talked about, we'll just do project management for an example. Like, um, that's one where, right, it only consists of 3 courses in total. So if there were no sort of, requirements for course order, you could theoretically take the 3 courses in one term. But again, you shouldn't do that. Okay. You should definitely be starting with PMP 401 and then doing, these next 2 sequentially or together. So this is going to take, at minimum, two terms to wrap up. So like, yeah, duration of the course is there when you actually, click on it and look at the offerings. Duration of the, individual courses. Duration of the program is 2 to 3 terms or whatever, however you split it up. Okay. Why, and a lot of people ask us, why are certain courses showing as unavailable? I'm not going to track down an example right now, but if you look around on our website, you're just going to see some courses just grayed out and they say it's currently not available. That just means that just means you can't enroll for it right now because it's currently running and or it's not open for enrollment for the upcoming term. So, but if you take a look at the schedule tab, and every program page has a schedule tab. You can click on that and you can see what our plans are for. Well, at this point, it's up to August 2025, the end of our spring/summer 2025 term. So you can look there and see, what is going to be, offered. And the courses in that term are going to open for enrollment in mid-March, and then so on. It gets updated a couple times a year, those schedule tabs, and you'll be able to look forward and kind of see a little bit into the future, what is coming. We will wrap this one up for today. And thank you very much, everyone, for attending. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful holiday.